Good afternoon. And thank you to the two supporters that attended on behalf of Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Both of you, thank you. To Miss Marilyn and to this podium and to the audience, it is indeed a privilege to be able to stand before you as a minister with an audience and a microphone. That's a dangerous combination. Thanks, however. Thank you, Ms. Kimberly Beal, our program director of the Cam Newton Foundation, Charlotte chapter. I'm here to talk for a few brief minutes about our foundation and somewhat about Cam. Here of late, my name has changed. I go from Cecil Newton. My name has changed now to Cam's father. Or in the mall, I hear so many kids calling me Mr. Cam. So I'm very privileged to be honored and to be associated with Cam. But long before Cam really burst on the scene, so much was really going on with our lives. Our lives was spiritually Christian-based. Our fundamentals were pretty much intact with what America stands for. I don't believe that things happen by happenstance. I believe that you can place yourself in an opportunity for such a time to be successful. And I'd go as far as to say this on record, that thank you to each of you. I don't know you by name, but this service over self motto is really gripping me at my heart. And it's very important to those of you who have done kind deeds and gestures throughout the many years and have not been given the thank yous that you outright deserve. Take it from me, Cam's father. I say thank you. Can you give yourselves a hand? I have one update to make on my resume, so to speak, and it was being married 25 years. I've actually been married 28. Time flies when you're having fun. And just in case it's being recorded and my wife finds out about it and I did not correct it, it wouldn't go over well with me back home. So I'm very grateful to be married to Jackie LaVon Wilder Newton for 28 years. Thank you. Who am I? I'm a basic person. I believe that character should speak for you. I think that you should put emphasis not always on yourself and on those who you know. There are challenges that we all face, and I think there are times to where we have to roll up our sleeves and adhere to challenges that's going to support and benefit others. I've got two quick notes or letters that I would like to read. I've got 10 minutes. Bear with me. I don't see a clock, so when you see Miss Beal standing up and using this gesture, I'll know to bring it to a close. The first is, what is it like to find a lot of stash of cash and return it? This was found in Reader's Digest. It was an afternoon of our new house, and I was in the workshop of the garage. I noticed a scrap of carpet sticking out of the ceiling. That was strange. I pulled on it, and it led me to an access in the attic. I grabbed the ladder and I headed up. I climbed into a space in the workshop upstairs, off from the rest of the attic. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I saw a metal container that I recognized as a World War II ammunition box. My grandfather had used it to store tools. I opened the lid and freaked out at what I saw. Several rolls of money were tied up in orange twine. Holy cow, I thought. I found at least $800. Awesome. But there were more. Not only one box of money, there were several bags full. I won't lie, my first thought was this was a blessing from God. The means to fix up our house, the means to help adopt another child and to fix and make life better for our children. When they were told, they were shocked, of course, not only about the money, but that I was returning it. Long story short, the guy found 45,000 cash dollars. As a Christian believer, I struggle with the mere fact to know what would I have done had I found 45,000 cash dollars in a new purchased house. This guy shows me that as an American, as a person who really is challenged to do the right thing, turns around and does the right thing. Here's a homeless man. You might have seen this last week in USA Today. Homeless man, long story short, on the street corner, shaking a can, asking for a handout. People notably contributed money to him. One particular young lady inadvertently dropped her engagement ring inside the cup. Some days later, it was returned. However, the impact of the whole story was, while he was homeless, there was a good gesture coming from him. And as it was coming from him, the whole state of the country turns out and raises $175,000 in his behalf. He now has a brand new home. He now is re-engaged with his family. And these are two success stories. The homeless guy was black. The guy who found the cash was white. There's good in every sector of our community. Are we thankful for that? Thank you. I would like to get to 2 or 3 talking points. Everybody wants to hear about Cam. Cam, talk to me about Cam. We don't want to hear you. Talk to us about Cam. Well, Cam is in travel now. I'm very excited about the mere fact that he was selected and chosen to play for the Carolina Panthers. There are some challenges that we do face. I am Cam's probably worst critic, but I am an adamant supporter. My son and I are connected at the hip, if you will, because I see what he goes through and I ride with him throughout the changes that he goes through in age. At 23 years old, it is my prayer every day that he continues to make good choices, good decisions. Long after I've played and some of you guys have played, the social media and what society offers celebrities, athletes alike, every day. You just never know what's going to really show up on ESPN or any other social media outlet. I pray for him every day. We talk here and there. I don't talk to Cam as much as I used to. So busy. But I was so glad to know that he decided on his own to go back and finish his degree at Auburn University. 2 semesters. He told me the other day, I had a big test last week. Don't really know how well I did. I said, hang in there, son. Because it would have been easy to just go to school, wound up getting drafted as he did, and never look back. But part of our initiative and our foundation is about learning. So he needs to become a living example of what school is really like. Keeps you grounded. Money is one thing, but character and staying grounded to the everyday citizen is important to our well-being. I hope he passes this test, so to speak. Growing up, who was Cam? Story after story, chapter after chapter. However, at a church event, I can recall that's just like yesterday, 6, 7, 8 years old, 25, 30 other kids, members of the church or wherever. Anytime we would gather together, inevitably, Cam would wound up getting hurt some kind of way. All of the adults inside, fellowshipping, having a good time. Screams come lurking from the backyard. And as most mothers know, they know the voice or the tone of their own child. My wife races to the door. Lo and behold, here comes Cam. Bottom lip is split. falling over a wall, playing hide and seek, playing tag or something. Let me build a story for you. We had just come from the hospital less than 2 or 3 weeks ago when my wife's mother had passed. A long illness, so we spent a lot of time at the hospital. She didn't return, the Lord took her home. Not far before that, my father had deceased, and we spent a lot of time at the hospital as well. These were the only 2 times that Cam had a real workings of interacting with the hospital. When his lip was split, everybody was screaming, my wife can't stand blood. Come here, son, come here. I looked at it. It was open pretty good. I said, son, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. The screams and the franticness of a 9-year-old you won't believe. His 2 memories of hospital were not good. So for 20 minutes, he campaigned about he didn't need it, he wasn't going, nobody was gonna make it. I being the closest person to Cam, come here son, come here, settle down, calm down. I had to get my wife away. He and I had to stand out there in the yard alone. I hugged him, I embraced him. I said, son, settle down. It's gonna be okay. I'm going with you. Shaking, shimmering, all. We finally got my wife under control, got ready to get him in the car. In his tears and his cracking voice of a 9-year-old, he says, tell my family I love them, I'll see them on the other side. He didn't expect to come home. Cam is a very committed athlete. He was gifted from way back. And I'm not saying that because he's my son. I sat in audiences to where people did not know who I was. And that can be very brutal. Because if your son plays any sport, soccer, lacrosse, rugby, it doesn't matter. If they don't know you're that child's parent, you're likely to hear anything. And so for that, I can say I have real tough skin and I'm not easily offended. I've been in high school games where the guy next to me is just cutting Cam up one side and down another. We've learned to live with that. I've taught him how to persevere against naysayers and against unwelcoming environment. And up until a certain point, he's been quite successful. I'm proud of that. I'm more so proud because he ultimately wants to make an impact in the community. It's really not about the money at this particular point. Now it's about making an impact, making a difference, which leads me to the creation of our foundation. The Cam Newton Foundation principal motto is everyone matters. From that insignificant person who is going to sweep up after we leave, who served us, that person at the airport who we'll never have a direct engagement with, or the highest ranking individual in this room. All of us matter of some sort or another. And I have compelled him, and he continues to trumpet that motto that they do matter. Cam is really a child at heart, a big kid, loves comedy, likes to have a good time. He is very at home with children, middle schoolers, high schoolers alike, elementary school students alike. That's who he really is. Have he taken advantage of all of his opportunities? To a great degree, most of them I think he has. Are there challenges that he has to overcome? Yes, he does. But I think he's going to be good for this city. And I think this city is an outstanding place for him to be associated with. This is, of course, our first marriage by NFL standards. And that first marriage is the best of all marriages. Can I get a witness, someone? There are 3 schools that our foundation has put forth an initiative about learning, teaching, giving, and they are Randolph Middle School, Bradley Middle School, and Thomasboro. All of them have socioeconomic differences. Our foundation is to reach out to the privileged as well as the underprivileged, the socially advantaged, the socially economically disadvantaged. I don't believe that there's nothing in life for free. And I'm here as a proponent to teach people from a grassroots level that if you put the time in, if you put the effort forward, good things will happen. I don't think giving people something for nothing in exchange is going to really benefit us. But Cam, myself, our foundation will roll up our sleeves as you guys do time and time again, get down to the nooks and crannies, the grassroots level, and try to become an obvious, visible sign of what can possibly happen good for the city of Charlotte. That's why it started, philanthropy, giving back, becoming rooted and grounded with some of those things. We are partnering with the big brothers, big sisters. We're meeting with them. I'm always impressed by people who go out of their way to spend time with people who they're not next of kin to. So I applaud you, whoever you are, and it moves me. I also had an opportunity to go to Carolina's Healthcare. We're trying to partner with them as well. Kids who are there who have suffered long illnesses, they are unique in their own way, and they spoke to me some time ago when I was there last. Sick kids, they're unique, no agenda. They speak what they think, they tell you how they feel. Tell Cam, one young man said, tell Cam, hold his head up. Stop pouting so much. Wow. And I told Cam that. Others said, we support him. Here are sick kids who have their own sets of challenges. But what Cam does has an impact on them. So we in turn have to turn around and have an impact on them. As I go through some of my notes, I'm pretty much at the end because I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm here for the long haul. I would like to be welcomed back as readily as possible, if for no other reason than to observe the menu, of course. There was a doctor speaking to a man who had an illness, and the doctor said unto him, after observing your prognosis, I have good news and I have bad news. The patient took a deep breath and said, well, give me the good news first. He said, the good news is you have 3 days to live. He was floored. He said, wow, if that's the good news, what's the bad news? The bad news is I forgot to call you the day before yesterday. Thank you to the Rotary Club. Are there any other questions? Would anybody have any questions for a couple of minutes?
Hi, we had Ronald Rivera speak,